When it comes to deals, my eyes out there looking, my ears out there listening, my nose is out there smelling, and your tail is out there wagging.
Weeknights at 6:30 on Channel 9.
February is Black History Month in the United States, and Monitor Reports is pleased to repeat this important program.
Hello, I'm Rob Nelson for the Christian Science Monitor. Generations of black Americans have been trapped in a cycle of poverty. This week, a special report that asks, can that cycle be broken? Meredith Lewis is our correspondent on the story, and he's here with us now. Meredith?
Rob, we begin our first segment on teen pregnancy. If you're poor, a teen pregnancy threatens to lock you into a life of poverty. Usually the burden to care for the child falls upon the young mother. She's more likely than a middle or upper class girl to drop out of school and become dependent upon welfare.
But where does the young father fit into this picture?
Well, usually he walks out of it. And that's a problem that more and more black communities are beginning to focus upon, the male's responsibility. One of the places where that's happening is in East Cleveland, and that's where we begin our story.
Hi. How you doing? How you doing? You doing okay? Yeah. Hey. What's happening, brother?
What's going on?
How's everything going? Okay. Not too bad.
At least 8 to 12, 8:30 to 12.
Oh.
Because then that way I can squeeze in my 4 major classes. That's all I need is 4 major classes.
Uh-huh.
Willie Elmore became a father when he was 17. Now he's 24, struggling to care for his 2 youngest children by himself. A counselor visits once a week to see how the family is coping. Elmore's sole support for his kids is a welfare check.
I don't want to be on welfare all my life. I want to take care of my kids with a job.
Hanging in there. What's been happening to you? Nothing but the weather.
But Elmore hasn't had a steady job in more than 2 years. And he is still trying to finish high school. As a poor black male, the statistical odds that he'll do either are not good. And the odds are made tougher by the fact that he's trying to raise a family. Over half of black households headed by a single parent are below the poverty line. As a father raising his kids, Elmore is in a minority. Over 90% of black single-parent households are headed by women. But Elmore fought for custody and is trying to break out of this cycle of poverty. The counselor here represents a program that helps men like Elmore beat the odds.
Well, how we call the number is 791-TEEN. And Teen Father program did a lot for me.
Elmore was having trouble with alcoholism when he joined the program 8 years ago. Like most of the men here, he didn't know where to look for help. The program found him. The program actively recruits by talking with youngsters at basketball courts and street corners to find out if they are fathers and to find out if they want help.
Don't act as though you are wiping a car. This is a human being. It lives, it moves.
Critics say the program may be worthwhile, but worry that it's not the answer to a more important question. How can teen pregnancy be prevented in the first place? But those in the Teen Father program say that it does attack that problem by teaching young men the consequences of fathering a child.
Talk about it before you do it. You know, that's why I always say talk about it before you do it, because after you do it, then you want to talk about it, and I really think it's too late. You know, y'all done did it, you got 9 months to prepare yourself, get ready, establish yourself, get a job, perhaps finish school, get a place to stay, furnish the place, pay the bills. That's a lot of things to do in just 9 months.
What do you think of feeding your baby? The first years, think about that.
The Teen Father program also reaches out to young mothers. Carla is now 19. She had her son when she was 15. She agrees that until she got pregnant, the consequences were the last thing on her mind.
It kind of happened for me. It was a really big mistake. And if I could go back and change it, you know, I would. I wouldn't, you know, even think about sex. I wasn't thinking about it then. It just happened. You know, it was something that just happened. I really didn't know what I was doing. I knew what I was doing, but I wasn't sure about it. And it just so happens that I got pregnant.
There is this myth that there is sexuality education, and I think that's the one big myth in this whole debate.
Faye Waddleton is the president of Planned Parenthood.
Our children are much more likely to get their sexuality education from the television, meaning that Dallas and Dynasty and all of my children are likely to be the primary sources of education. And we leave them very vulnerable due to the lack of information and due to ignorance to the conditions that result in teen pregnancy.
Patty cake, baker, man.
Anthony Grissett is 15. His parents say they talked to Anthony about the consequences of having sex. But only after Paulette was born to a neighbor's daughter did the Grissetts learn that their son, Anthony, was her father.
I was shocked, angry. I was all those things. I wanted to kill that boy. Because I just thought everything we had taught him just went down the drain. He just took it and said, I don't care what y'all say, I'm going to do this. And when we talked to him, it wasn't that way at all. It was just pressure from his friends.
Even snakes take care of little snakes until they come out of their skin. Any man that makes a baby and will not raise that baby has character lower than a snake crawling on the ground.
For years, black leaders like the Reverend Jesse Jackson have preached to teens about taking responsibility for the children they bring into the world. Statistics show that most teenage black fathers don't support the children they help to create. All too often, studies show that the young black father fails to support his child because he can't get a job. Unemployment for blacks ages 15 to 19 is 3 times higher than whites. Without a job, many turn to drugs, alcohol, and crime. Charles Ballard is director of the Teen Father Program, and he knows these problems firsthand. As a teenager, he fathered a child, ran away, became an alcoholic, and did time in prison.
Those kinds of problems tend to take the man out of the home. Usually they are associated with joblessness. Guy doesn't have a job, his kid's on welfare, he feels bad about that. What does he do? He seeks for a job, he cannot get a job, so he begins to drink. He may go out and hit somebody in the head to get food for his kids. And of course, consequently, he ends up in prison, or he ends up dead, being shot by a policeman. So there's a direct tie-in to unemployment and fathers being in the home.
Willie Elmore says he has been trying to get a steady job for over 2 years.
And right now, at this time, a job is a job. I'll settle for minimum wages.
Black leaders say the reason people like Elmore have problems finding jobs is because they're born into an environment which works against their best efforts.
We have inferior schools. We have blacks crowded in neighborhoods. We have blacks who have the highest unemployment in the country. And then when this group, for some reason, if we want to believe the statistics, have the highest rate of pregnancy, then it's their fault. Then we blame the victim. We don't look at those people in power who has caused the problem to be as it is.
Dr. Dottie Sterling, a Cleveland psychologist, works with the Teen Father Program.
I think the bottom line boils down to people have to feel good about themselves. People have to have a good sense of self-esteem, a good sense of self-concept. If we give our young people this, then some of the other kinds of problems sort of take care of themselves.
So they'll be talking to you as grandmothers, as grandfathers.
That's the idea behind Teen Fathers. The hope is that men like Willie Elmore will be able to overcome the adversity they're born into and make a better life for themselves and their children. Teen Father Counselor Willie Scott.
He has the guts, he has the determination, and with that support behind him, he's going to make it. You know, he's going to make it. Like I say, he's come a long way, and if a person would know him from the beginning, they would never say that was the same person today.
I want my kids to grow up the right way, have some of the chance to get the education that I had to wait later in life to get.
Well, come on, you got to turn around then. You got to turn your body around. You can't look one way and I'm doing this way.
And I just wanted to finish school and be something. Whatever they be, just be the best at it, whatever they be. And that's all. I want my kids to know who their father is, who's going to do for them, who's going to take care of them, who's going to be around them when the chips are down. I'll be there.
American Heritage has been called the world's greatest magazine of history. To me, it's our American Family album, the story of our own past brought gloriously to life.
Get American Heritage for you and your family. Get a full year, 6 big bi-monthly issues for only $18. Save 25% off the cover price. Order now and get this hardbound, concise family edition of the American Heritage Dictionary. Free. Call 1-800-554-7000.
This is the international daily newspaper that's won 5 Pulitzer Prizes for news coverage. It's the newspaper famous for an unbiased editorial policy that lets you make up your own mind. It's often called the best international newspaper in the world. It's the Christian Science Monitor. The Monitor is read daily at the White House, in both houses of Congress, and by world leaders and opinion makers everywhere. It provides valuable insight and understanding of the news for people who need the complete picture. The Monitor is famous for its honest, up-to-the-minute, exclusive stories because it reports the facts accurately and candidly, without sensationalism. The Monitor covers the news around the globe and around the corner, with balanced, comprehensive reporting to help you understand. No wonder the Monitor is one of the world's most respected newspapers, with 5 Pulitzer Prizes and 11 Overseas Press Club awards. Shouldn't you subscribe to the Monitor today? Now you can. Call this number and get 4 months of the Monitor delivered 5 days a week to your door for only $19.95. Save almost 50% off the basic price. 4 months for only $19.95. And you may cancel at any time. Subscribe today. The Monitor. Call 1-800-554-6565. 1-800-554-6565.
Meredith, poverty obviously is not just a black problem, so when we talk about poverty, why do we focus on the black community?
Because a disproportionate number of black Americans are poor. More than 1/3 live below the poverty line, and that is perhaps more than double the proportion of whites.
Now, the National Academy of Sciences has just reported on the teen pregnancy aspect of this problem, but that's not the only reason, surely. What about unemployment?
Rob, unemployment is the biggest problem facing young black Americans growing up today. And the bottom line is that if we're to break the cycle of poverty, more jobs have to be created in the inner cities. And the kids living in the inner cities have to be prepared to take on those jobs. And we pick up our report in Camden, New Jersey.
Let nobody from this day forward tell you that you're dumb. Don't buy that. Unfortunately, some of you bought it. Don't buy it.
Most of these kids have been kicked out of the public school system. Many have also been in trouble with the law. Camden, New Jersey, where they grew up, is one of the poorest cities in the country. But the students here are getting a chance to fight back.
Start looking deeper into things. Once you start doing that, then you're going to be ready for business. See, and it's not your fault. The schools that you were in before you came to JRC didn't prepare you to think logically.
They call this the Young Entrepreneurs Program. The aim is to prepare kids like these to enter the business world. This is no ordinary classroom.
You're inside the cabin now, okay? And you got one match. What for survival would you light first? Would you light the lamp, the oil stove, the fireplace, or the candle? Match. Ooh, my man! Go ahead, Rutgers. Ooh, yes. I'd do that too. I'd light the match.
Intelligentsia just...
Thinking. Arrange 3 sevens such as to make 8. 7 and 7 goes 1. 1 plus 7. 3 sevens, you make 8. Remember this. Probability thinking. There always is a way. There always is a way. Look for that way.
Troy, explain something just for a moment. You are somebody. What does that mean? What does that mean? You are somebody. Often, my youth do not see their fitting into the spectrum of things, into the spectrum of the larger creation. They see no niche for them.
The only place they fit in until now were the streets of Camden, New Jersey. Over half the families here are on public assistance. What happened to Camden is what happened to many American cities over the past 30 years. Back in the 50s, it was a vibrant industrial community.
I was born and raised here in Camden and saw Camden when it was in its heyday, when it was the economic center, the cultural center.
Melvin Primus is mayor of Camden. After World War II, the American dream was a single-family home in the suburbs. Shopping malls sprouted up, and business and industry moved out of the inner city to sprawling industrial parks. That drained the life out of Camden. It left the poorest and least educated behind.
So that there really is no middle class, middle income group here. And for any community to survive, that has to happen because the poor just can't support the poor.
That's why the city of Camden has invested a lot in luring business back. The signs of new growth are everywhere. A new transportation center and a waterfront development that will include Campbell Soup's corporate headquarters. George Waters is co-founder of the new Entrepreneurs Program.
We see within the next 10 years is Camden being an ideal place for a lot of businesses, a lot of opportunities for young people, a lot of opportunities for its residents, if they are ready.
For people in Camden, getting ready means learning job skills so they'll be able to find jobs when the companies move in, or be able to create their own jobs. Those are the long-term goals of the new Entrepreneurs Program. The program helps kids start businesses so they can learn management skills. One example, a sandwich shop called The Lunchbox. Moya McAllister is now an assistant manager.
Yeah, give us another box of Milky Way. It takes a lot. It takes courage and ability. You have to know what you're doing. And, man, you have to work. You have to, you know, learn how to work with people. And it takes you yourself. You have to make it because ain't nobody else going to make it for you.
Moya says she has 11 brothers and sisters and was raised in a family supported by welfare. She says in an attempt to break this cycle, she has had to leave a street life behind.
They want to hang out, go to bars and stuff like that, and get high and drink and do cocaine and all that other stuff, and it's not helping them do anything. I used to be out there too, that's what I'm saying, I know. And I just left all that alone. My friends, you know, I still see them and stuff, but I don't hang with them or nothing like that. I just worry about my job and my school, and that's it.
Where are you going to be 14 years from now? And if we say nothing else to you, if we take nothing else away from you, we really want you to get into this. I know we're going to be 14 years from now. 14 years from now, you're going to be in the year 2000. 14 years from now, you're going to be in the year 2000. And that's heavy. And people who have skills are going to be a place for you. If you don't have any skills, there's not going to be, yeah, there's going to be places for you. They built 2 in Camden. What are they? Yes. See, again, back to it. You have a choice.
From around the world and across the nation, people are rushing to Waterbed Warehouse. Why? Because you can get a $9 pillow for only 99 cents. That's right, only 99 cents. So hurry into Waterbed Warehouse. Our low prices will knock your socks off.
Waterbed Warehouse showed me. Waterbed Warehouse, Waterbed Warehouse, Waterbed.
The Wrecking Ball hits to Simpkins District Furniture Warehouse on February 28th. With the all-new warehouse unfinished, all 5 stores are jammed with hundreds of brand-name items. This color TV and stereo combination as low as $398. $398 also buys a 4-piece black lacquer bedroom set. This 7-piece dining room set is just $598. You get the china cabinet free. The Wrecking Ball sale at the Simpkins District Furniture and Appliances offers savings up to 80%. All 5 stores are jammed with quality items still in original cartons. Shop now.
On the court, I can hold my own against just about anyone. But on the street, I don't stand a chance against a drunk driver. This year, drunk drivers will seriously injure nearly 1 million people. And that makes me mad.
We're back for the third and final segment in our report on breaking the cycle of black poverty with our correspondent Meredith Lewis. Meredith?
Rob, we'll focus in this segment on a couple in East Texas, both of whom have come from very poor backgrounds to attain a measure of middle-class prosperity. You'll find that the Ollisons, Ruth and Quincy, are very aware of what it's like to be black and trying to make it in this country.
A picture has been painted. When white people see me, they already have their minds made up about me. It's not positive. So I already go in handicapped. Then if I get beyond that and perform, then you know, I've had you know, some of my white associates tell me, well, you know, you're not like the rest of them. I am the rest of them.
Ruth Allen Ollison, 32 years old, and one of only 3 black television news directors in the country. She has been put in charge of building a news department from the ground up at this station in Tyler, Texas. Tyler is almost 100 miles away from downtown Dallas, where her husband Quincy works. For now, the Ollisons only see each other on weekends.
We have plea bargaining to do before we actually have an agreement.
Okay, now are you passing under the same provisions of the speedy trial?
Quincy Ollison is an assistant district attorney in Dallas. In Dallas County, there are 155 prosecutors. Only 7 of them are black. Both Ollisons have defied the odds. They have come a long way from the poor working-class communities where each of them grew up. But when you talk with Ruth and Quincy, you still hear frustration and even anger in their voices. Although they know they are respected as professionals, they still feel that as black Americans, they are misunderstood.
There is just an absolute disinterest, lack of concern, or downright prejudice that exists in the white community that segregates itself from the black community, and to my way of thinking has very little interest or very little desire to want to know black people. And I tell you, they, since 1619, has missed out on, I think, the most rewarding experience that any group of people could ever have.
Piney, Texas is an all-black town that doesn't appear on most road maps. Ruth Ollison grew up here. It is still a part of her life.
Then, Father, I ask thee if thou wilt create in us all a clean heart and renew within us the right
love.
Then I ask thee, Father, will you blot out
the richness that we have in people.
No, thank you for bringing us through the storm and through the rain.
I have to know who I am. I have a certain set of values. They were instilled in me through my church, through my family, through my community. And that's who I am, and that's who I've always been, and that's who I'm always going to be.
Ruth was raised by her mother in this house. There was no running water. But she says these poor surroundings were a rich resource for a young girl who had a lot of ambition.
I've always been supported and pushed by my mother, by my Uncle Herbert, by my grandfather, by my aunts, by my uncles who've done everything from swept floors to feed me to making cars so I'd have a way to go to school. So everyone supported me, and I do not accept this notion that our families are eroding.
Rather than white America looking at the black family as being eroded, and whether that has to do with unemployment or teenage pregnancy or whatever, I think the question that must be addressed is to white America, what will we do? What will we do, not about the black family in and of itself, but what will we do about unemployment? What will we do about educational opportunities? What will we do about political and social equality for black people and for all people in this country? So rather than having a show here, getting Ruth and I to tell you what the problem is, I think you probably ought to have a show with white people to get them to see what they need to do to resolve the problem.
The New Yorker. It is not the ordinary person who would eagerly await a visitor such as this, who, for a few hours each week, would put aside career, hobbies, health club, and do something that is rare today. Read. The New Yorker. It begins with an insider's guide to what's happening in movies, theater, music, dance, and art. Add to that the best fiction, nonfiction, and poetry of our time, previewed in the New Yorker sometimes months in advance. And throughout it all, you get laughter. Those legendary New Yorker cartoons. Call now and get 52 weekly issues of the New Yorker for just $25.95. Save more than $50 off the $78 cover price. Also, get this New Yorker cartoon sampler book free. At a price like this, you may even want to order two.
Call 1-800-372-3800. 1-800-372-3800.
I want Waterbed, because I sleep good. Waterbed warehouse showed me how.
Flash! From around the world and across the nation, people are rushing to Waterbed Warehouse. Why? Because you can get a $9 pillow for only 99 cents. That's right, only 99 cents. So hurry into Waterbed Warehouse. Our low prices will knock your socks off.
Waterbed warehouse showed me. Waterbed warehouse, Waterbed warehouse, Waterbed.
Isn't it about time you developed your most important asset? Yourself, your confidence, your success potential. Discover the new Personal Improvement Handbook you can use every day. Self-analysis by best-selling author L. Ron Hubbard. Now at Walden Books or wherever paperbacks are sold. Buy it. Use it. Because if you're not moving up, you're falling behind.
Meredith, the Ollisons look very comfortable, but as you've said, they sound very frustrated as well.
Well, I think the frustration stems from the fact that, from their viewpoint, they have seen relatively few blacks who have been able to share the kind of material success and respect that they've attained. And I think the problem based on this is that since the late 1960s, it is true that the proportion of blacks who have achieved middle income status, those earning at least $35,000 a year, that group has nearly doubled, but at the same time there's been even a faster growth of blacks living below the poverty line, those who are earning less than $10,000 a year. So the proportion of blacks who have achieved middle class status is not as great as one might think. So the Ollisons then can be viewed as a minority within a minority group, and that's perhaps why they express so much concern.
Thanks very much, Meredith. And that concludes our report on breaking the cycle of poverty in Black America. For Meredith Lewis and myself, thank you for watching this week. I'm Rob Nelson for the Christian Science Monitor.
For a printed copy of today's program, send $2 to Monitor Reports, 2 John Street, New York, New York, 10038.
One of our all-time favorite family classics, The Adventures of Robin Hood with Errol Flynn, today at 3:30.
When the Contour Chair Company mailed me this free trade-in-your-old chair certificate worth $250 off a classic model Contour chair, I jumped at the chance to get rid of my old bone crusher. Now, I'm not only enjoying the rest of my life, I'm also $250 richer. My new classic Contour chair supports me perfectly because it's custom-made to my body's exact measurements. It's so relaxing, and it adjusts to hundreds of comfortable positions, plus has soothing heat and massage built right in. Listen, if you have an old easy chair, it's worth $250 no matter what it's